folks. I want to start this one out with a thought I had the other day. It's kind of in reference to my research approach on my channel here. In the past, I've been reluctant to post the strange stuff. Now when I say strange, I mean the inexplicable, since in my mind, as of yet, these inexplicable observations show no apparent link to Bigfoot or Sasquatch, for the time being anyways. Therefore, they would wind up on the cutting room floor when it comes time to edit my videos. When I think on it, I believe that to be a mistake. Maybe I always did that in a way, in an attempt to keep the trolls to a minimum. That's probably the driving force at work here. So my thought was, just because I don't have an explanation right now for something strange I've captured, doesn't mean that I won't find some significance later, especially if I see or hear it repeatedly in similar settings later on. The best way I can explain this upgraded approach is to imagine a future researcher having much more information on this subject than anyone in the present, going back and reviewing my videos for any possible consistencies with his or her research. It would seem a shame if I were to omit anything of note, even if, at the time, I thought it to be peculiar yet meaningless, especially when it is in conjunction with more solid evidence, like near sightings, footprints, good audio, having objects thrown at you, etc., etc. This is an important distinction to make. These strange observations by themselves in an area not known for Bigfoot activity are almost meaningless unless they are found in close proximity to more solid evidence. I mean, these future researchers might have all the answers, yet they'll always look back to solidify their own findings by seeking corroborating observations wherever they can. So I can't cheat them. It's not up to me to explain everything. I'll leave it up to them. I'll do my part with the note collecting. That being said, I want to share a very strange story with all of you. It happened in the summer of 2017 when hiking in the ravines in the Driftless area in southwest Wisconsin. I did have a head-mounted GoPro recording at the time, but it didn't, nor could it, convey the weirdness of the situation without my explanation here. The video doesn't convey much, but this was one of the strangest things to ever happen to me in the woods. And believe me, I've had some doozies. So, I'm finishing up an exhausting 5-mile hike up and down 3 ridges when this happens. What the video doesn't show is that the rock clack sounded like it was 10 feet to my left, right on top of me. I had an overwhelming sense that something large had just violently moved past me at an unnerving rate of speed. It seemed only an arm's length away. After reviewing the footage, I found nothing other than the rock clack that was audible. I couldn't believe it. I was sure something was there. Disappointed in that it didn't capture anything on video, I put the clip to my flash drive, thinking maybe I could use the rock clack later. Fast forward several months later, a fellow enthusiast asked me, "Of all the weird experiences you've had pursuing these things, which is the weirdest?" I paused momentarily, mulled it over, turned my gaze to the canopy of trees surrounding us, and I almost said something like, "Almost any time you have a sighting or have rocks thrown at you," something like that, you know. You know, the standard response. But my lips froze before the first syllable passed through, and I held that stupid look in my face for a few moments. I paused again and said, "But there was this time," and I told the story I'm telling you today. Tree branch notwithstanding. Wait, what? Tree branch? What tree branch? How did a tree branch get into the story? You're probably wondering. Let me explain. Weird stuff, remember? After my sit-down talk with my friend, I got the file off my flash drive to look at it again, to see if I had missed anything. Let me show you what I had missed. Immediately after the rock clack / false charge, or whatever an experience like that is called, you can see and even hear one single leafed branch low to the ground shake up and down as if it was disturbed. Note how calm all other vegetation is in the frame. No wind on that day. My prime suspect is some sort of large bird, which took off from the branch. Now I'm no bird expert, but I know of no bird in the world that can reach top flight speed immediately after taking off from its perch. In this case, presumably the limb in question, which it would need to do in order to be unseen here. You see any birds flying here? Especially since the limb was so close to the ground, any lift the bird acquired on takeoff would be without the assistance of gravity, like from an elevated branch. All breast muscle, power before speed. It's because of this reason that I do not believe it was a bird of any kind. I remember being so worn out at that moment. I misjudged my endurance, biting off more than I could chew, so to speak, with the 5 ravines. One ravine in particular had an unexpectedly thick undergrowth, and trying to climb out of it took an hour longer than it should have. I was disappointed with myself for not noticing that there was an open canopy over the ravine, allowing sunlight to penetrate, hence the hellish undergrowth. I knew better, I thought. I was plumb tuckered out. I was in no shape to defend myself from anything, and I think whatever charged me knew it too. I did have a .45 on my hip, but I was so beat there was no way I could have unholstered it in less than 5 seconds, which is an eternity. The feel of the situation was one of pure intimidation. Whatever it was, did a good job of displaying how quickly and easily I could be taken out. I never saw it, and it didn't show up on video, just the clack in the branch. But wait, there's more. For the few of you who followed my videos closely, you know I beat you listeners like a dead horse repeatedly, whenever applicable, with my anomaly proximity principle. I flashed it in my slideshow earlier. It states, where the closer 2 or more anomalies are to one another, the greater the significance of each becomes. It's important to mention that again now, before I show you what happened 2 hours earlier on this hike in the late summer of 2017. I was at the top of the second ridge and heading north towards the parking lot, feeling that I've donated quite sufficiently to the starving mosquito blood bank for the past several hours. I was looking forward to ending my suffering, fantasizing about getting to my rusty Durango, chugging a gallon of water, and driving home. I was walking along a log when I heard Now compare that to the sound I previously illustrated. Now I will number them 1 for the clack on the top of the second ridge, and 2 for the one where I had the false charge that I illustrated earlier. Now I will alternate them quickly and loop it through a few times for you, and you tell me, is this the same sound? Sure sounds like the same sound to me. This is not a normal sound you will hear 10 feet from your ear in the woods. The two locations were roughly 2 miles apart. The first clack was behind me, as if it was following me. The second flanked to my left side. Now that you know I heard the same exact sound 2 hours earlier, does this change your perception of the second clack that I illustrated earlier? There, I'm an open book now, holding nothing back. Maybe it's strange now, but maybe not to the future researcher. If you like my videos, please consider subscribing. Click on the bell to get notifications when I post a new video.